Gifts are no longer for survival. They are the reason I am thriving. Good morning, everyone. I have taken over the live today. My name is Ocean, if you don't know me, and I am a practitioner at Bright and Dark, a member of the Unbound, and the current steward of the guild. And so this morning, I decided to take over the live. Jen Marie wasn't feeling well, and we're holding space for them as they take care of themselves. But I didn't want us to go without connection today. So at 3 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. EST, I will be doing a Pisces workshop in my astrology series called Celestial Connections. I'm super excited about it. I'm super on fire about it. I have really strong Pisces placements, so it's a very personally involved workshop. I don't have a strong placement, so it takes a little bit more for me to get into that space. But this one, I am like deep within it. So if you want to take a dive, if you want to go down to the depths, feel free to hop into my workshop. You can find it in the active workshops page at brightanddark.org. It's going to be a really amazing workshop. We usually do about an hour. So I usually start with a meditation, and then we get into the archetypes of Pisces, the 12th house, and Neptune. And we talk about that for about an hour, just seeing where the flow takes us. I have a bunch of information prepared, but I have more information prepared than I actually have time to share. So we always see what we end up needing. I like to be overly prepared. And then for the second hour, we turn off the recording and we pull up your personal chart and we go through all of your personal placements. And I love that part. We get to see how connected we are, and we can see how much that we experience the same things through a different lens. I think that's what I love about astrology the most, is that we have that lens of personal flavor, but we can connect through similar archetypes. And I think that it's important to see that people experience different aspects of their life differently, because it gives us perspective. This is a collective reading, but this is also me doing my personal morning reading in order to connect with you guys. I don't bridge my deck. I am not coordinated enough to do that. So I usually shuffle them just around until I feel the connection in my forehead. I feel like a little like ping, like, oh, that's the one. So the question that we're asking today, so we have to ask the question first, is where does our attention need to be in order to bring the most expansion to our relationship with our life and our practice? Okay, that incense is strong. Excuse me. That is some great incense. It's the dragon's blood incense. Actually, I got from one of my last boxes. Where does our attention need to be today in order to bring the most expansion to our relationship with our life and our practice? And we got the Two of Pentacles reversed. Disorganization, overwhelmed, overcommitted. We've got, it's a Jupiter card. It's an earth element. Excuse me. The numerology is 2 and 11. It's connected to all the earth signs. Let's see. So Pentacles is earth, and 2 is generally about connection, but it can also be about alignment externally, right? Because the self is the 1. So that's the internal, ultimate, vital self. And then you go to 2, and that's other, but that can also represent external. It's not always necessarily another person. How's your grounding practice? That's really what's coming to mind first, especially as a lot of witches are feeling the pull or the call. And I think for a lot of witches, we're feeling our call from career to calling. We're feeling that pull to shift because it's different. I gave up having a normal career Yeah, about 4 years ago now, in order to pursue this work, in order to pursue my calling, because I had the support to be able to do that. And even not having to mainstream, grounding is a really hard practice for me. I do not have strong earth placement. I have, but everybody has all the placements, but I don't have a strong connection to those. I'm very watery, I'm very airy. I can be very like fluid and out there and inspired. But sometimes when it comes time to breathe and ground and bring my attention back to the present moment, that's where my brain is like, no, but we got to figure out all the other stuff. Like, what about the future? What about how good things can get? Because, like, I tend to be a dreamer, right? And this is even the, this is the time, right? That of the year, Pisces, like Aquarius into Pisces. Aquarius is like, okay, I can see what I have to work with. I can see where I'm heading. I can understand the bigger values that I'm working to, that I'm embodying on this next part of the journey. But when you go from Aquarius, who's up there on the mountain with like a high point of view, it's like full energy, right? It's like you're cliff diving off into Pisces, into the ocean. It's full of faith, it's full of trust. Unfortunately, we're out of pixie dust. And I think that grounding is not necessarily a weapon to use to kill your dreams, but I think that it's a way to say, how can I jump with my whole self? Grounding can even be seen as connecting to all parts of you, right? The earth. Think about roots and how interconnected they are. They're all growing together down underground, and they're growing, together with mycelium networks that connect them and plants that connect them. And there's all different ways to connect to all parts. And the earth would know so well about that deep connection, so that when you do come to your cliff, you can leap wholeheartedly. You can leap knowing I've prepared for this. I have connected to this. I have considered each part of my system and what they need. You don't need to go up to expand. And I think that's a lot of the misconception, is like, we have to go up to expand, but really it's inside. We have to go further in. We have to go deeper to expand, which as above, so below, right? Which is a whole different conversation. We're planting seeds. Absolutely. Digging down and planting seeds. Okay. What is in shadow that we may be in resistance to or in denial of, that's blocking our flow? Oh, fun. We got the death card, number 13. Who is in resistance to transformation? Oh, that's interesting. So one of you guys got the tower for your highlighted card. Another one of you got the tower for your shadow card. So some of us are embracing that leap from career to calling, from capitalism to community. Oh, shoot, I can't say that word. From Cappy Pappy to community. It's a big leap. It requires you to fundamentally change your entire life, because you start to realize as you pull the thread that everything is fundamentally connected to the foundation set up by the Cappy Pappy, conditioned into you, right? So you're literally having to break ground. You're literally having to break apart a foundation in order to lay a new one, but it's cracked. We want to do that. There's like ants coming up underneath, up underneath it. It's not a solid foundation, so it's necessary. So death, rebirth, metamorphosis, new beginnings, transformation. This is a water card. And, sometimes personally for me, I tend to embrace transformation sooner than I actually am set up for it, right? That's the grounding. That's the bringing it back to the present and the reality, because I can sense pretty easily like that things are changing. I have a really strong energetic sense for like that shifting, even when it's subtle. And so as soon as I start to feel the shifting, I'm like, oh, okay, everything's changing. And then my trauma response is to like, okay, well, let's just make it change. Let's, lean into it and, go with it. But that's not, sometimes when you start to feel the shifting and feel the changing, it's a call to participate actively in the process of grief, right? Think, I hate to say this, but think about when somebody passes away, right? You don't just move on from them, right? When you are fundamentally changing your life, how are you grieving that? How are you purging what you no longer need, what is no longer yours, what is no longer necessary or beneficial or supportive to the life that you're creating? Let's see, Pluto, Scorpio, it's number 4 in numerology. I think 4 is interesting. It's a very structured card, but it really speaks of natural structure, right? Like when we think of structure, we tend to think of like a building that we build or something that we do on our own or that's like man-made, right? But think about the nature of structure, right? When you think about how a tree grows, or like I think about birch trees specifically, right? They grow specifically with multiple trunks that intertwine to lean on each other so that when it's windy and stuff, it creates its own support, right? There is support that's built in to the life that you're creating, because a lot of us are moving towards community. A lot of us are wanting that support. But are you believing that it's there? Or are you in resistance to change because you think that you have to do everything yourself? Oh, that's a good one. Do you believe that community will show up to meet you? Or do you believe that you have to drag yourself there? Are you believing that you have to leap over the cliff alone? Yeah. And I think that there are so many witches here that have incredible giftings and abilities that you don't realize you've been using to survive. Survival isn't the baseline, right? But it's not where you're heading. You're heading to community. Community isn't just about survival. Survival is an independent, it is a individualist experience, because even when we're around people, if we're experiencing survival mode, it is because we don't feel held by the people around us. We don't feel supported by the structures around us, I mean, and this speaks to, especially being in the United States of embarrassment, this speaks to a larger level, right? There's a lot of us with mistrust in systems that were supposed to support us. There's a lot of us who are not feeling safe in places where we have established ourselves because we thought it would be safe. So, what is the story that you're telling yourself about the next chapter? Or even this chapter? I wouldn't even say the next one, right? Stay in the present, right? That's the grounding. So, what is the title of this current chapter? And how can you embrace the next misadventure? Is, I think, oh my gosh. Okay. I'm sorry. I just realized I had pulled the death card off of the deck, and I swear to you, directly underneath it was the Fool card. I literally could not make this up. That literally, like, I was just sitting here staring at it, and then I looked over at my deck because I set it to the side, and the Fool card is just staring at me. That is mind-blowing. I love that just happened, like, on a live recording. So that, I can't top that. That's so, that's our reading for today. Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely feel unsafe in a group. And I think the biggest indicator of how, I honestly think that vulnerability is the biggest indicator of how held you are by that group. If you are able to be vulnerable, if you're able to be messy, and within that group, it's like, how much can you be yourself? Is your whole self welcome in the room? Or do you need to find a different room to stand in? Yeah, no, we really get into the shadow work here. All right. I love everything that you guys are saying. And I love that everybody's getting into the pentacles too. I see a lot of pentacles in the chat. Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that, Lady Dynamite. My gifts are no longer for survival. They are the reason I am thriving. Yes. Let's go. All right. Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun. I'm so glad I leapt up and did this. I was a little bit nervous, but Jen Marie was like, I don't know, man. And I was like, I don't know either, but I think I'm just going to show up. I mean, they were like, I'm not feeling well. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And they were like, you absolutely can. So I showed up. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and close out this working together, and we will be back tomorrow, one of us, for the live divination. And tomorrow we also have our guild ritual, the belief release, and I'm super excited because we have a lot of fired up witches in the guild right now, and they're about to pop off. I'm super excited. So let's close out this working. This working is closing, but the magic has just begun. We humbly thank the elements, and so the moon and sun. I call to those who love me. Oh, I'm so sorry. To all who chose to bless this flow, I now sincerely thank you. May your practice be expansive and your course be clear and true. Thank you, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys at the Pisces workshop. Bye.